I caught my wife cheating and destroyed her lover's marriage in the process. Now I'm completely lost. I don't know what to do. There were signs, but I ignored them. I was blinded by love and never imagined something like this could happen to me, especially not with her, my wife and my best friend for almost 20 years. I work in another city and wasn't supposed to come home until tonight. Tomorrow, we were supposed to go on a 2-day trip together. Everything at work had been calm, so I decided to come home early yesterday afternoon. The trip was meant to give us time alone after a busy summer spent with family and friends. When I arrived, there was a truck parked in my driveway, one I didn't recognize. A few days earlier, a neighbor had asked how I liked my new truck. I thought he was mistaken and ignored it. The moment I saw that truck, a terrible feeling crept over me. I loved my wife and trusted her completely, but something felt deeply wrong. I crept up to our bedroom window. It was open, and I heard them. When I looked inside, my worst fears were confirmed. They were there, both naked, in my bed. I just walked away, fighting the urge to do something I'd regret forever. I drove to our family cabin and spent the entire night drinking everything I could find. Today, I drove home intending to confront her, but I couldn't. I'm not ready. All I feel is rage. All I can think about is violence. I'm not in a state to see her, so I went back to the cabin. I've got a bottle of whiskey, and I've been staring at it for an hour. I want to drink until I forget everything, but I'm afraid of what I might do if I get drunk. I know this is a critical moment in my life. Whatever I do in the next few days will shape the rest of it. That's why I'm here. I need help. I'm not ready to talk to my family or friends, so I'm turning to strangers on the internet. Update 1. The amount of support and advice I've received is overwhelming. It honestly made me emotional, realizing how many kind people are out there, willing to help a total stranger. It gave me a bit of hope when I needed it most. The downside is, I can barely keep up with all the replies, so I'll start with a huge thank you. Your words and advice mean the world to me. I noticed a few recurring questions and comments, so here's some clarification. I'm feeling much better now. The pain has almost faded. I still feel like I've been punched in the gut, but I'm starting to look forward again. It's been only 2 days, which feels strange. Maybe it's the calm before the storm, or maybe I'm just tougher than I thought. We don't have kids, though we had been planning to start a family soon. We recently sold our house, and we're about to move closer to my job once the new owners took over. I also plan to thank my neighbor, subtly, the same way he hinted to me. A few people asked what signs I ignored. Here are some. She started texting late at night, which wasn't like her. She often went out with friends after work. Again, unusual for her, but I thought she was just becoming more social. She had a weekly yoga class, but apparently, she wasn't paying for it, since one of the instructors was her coworker. She said she helped organize and clean up instead. I even thought she wasn't flexible enough for someone doing yoga. Calls from unknown numbers that hung up immediately. We usually answer each other's phones if one of us is closer, and several times, the call stopped the moment I picked up. I thought it was spam or collectors, but maybe not. When my brother arrived, we had a long, honest talk. He's always been my real best friend, and I realized I need to remember that. He'll always be there for me, without judgment, just like I've been there for him. Since I was supposed to be home last night, I decided to reply to my wife's texts instead. We're not allowed to use phones at work, so it made sense for me to text rather than call. I told her I had to travel to one of the company's remote sites and wouldn't be able to talk until after the weekend. I said she should cancel our bookings, but she offered to take her best friend to the romantic winery hotel I had booked for us. I knew she didn't mean the friend she wanted me to think of. I told her I'd already given that reservation to my brother and his wife since it was non-refundable. They promised to pay me back later. This morning, I canceled everything except the romantic suite. My brother's coming with me instead. Thankfully, the hotel allowed us to switch to a twin room. There's a beautiful lake nearby and boat rentals. We've been meaning to go fishing for years, so I'll spend the weekend there. I don't need to talk to her or see her for a few days, which takes off some pressure and gives me time to think. Right now, I'm leaning toward divorce. Honestly, I don't see any other way. My brother supports me, but suggested I take a couple of weeks before making a final decision. His wife knows a family counselor who agreed to talk to me on Monday. I doubt it'll change my mind, but maybe it'll help me make sense of the chaos in my head. I also took the advice of some commenters and spoke with a lawyer, just to be prepared for what feels inevitable. I want to handle this the smart way. I never thought my wife was capable of betrayal, but she was. So now, I have to be ready for anything. I'll try to make the best of this weekend. Update 2. A lot has happened in the past few days. We drove nearly 5 hours to the Vineyard Hotel. I'm grateful my brother came with me. It really felt like a heart-to-heart road trip, something that helped clear my mind. After I spent most of the drive venting, I wanted to be alone for a while, so he went out for dinner and brought me back something to eat. He also managed to rent a boat for us the next morning. On Saturday, we went fishing. The hotel owner knew our story and kindly packed a cooler with food and drinks for us. Their way of making the romantic package useful for two brothers. It was nice. We didn't catch any fish. We both caught a couple of trout, but we had to release them because they were too small. Luckily, the hotel snacks came in handy. We finished fishing around noon and then drove through the wineries and fruit stands, buying food and a few cases of wine for Matt's wife, Jen. That evening, we went out to find the biggest tomahawk steak we could get. On Sunday, we drove back to Matt's place. He lives in a neighboring town, about an hour away from my home. When we arrived, Jen was there, and the three of us opened a bottle of chilled white wine. That marked the official end of my weekend. Jen told me that while we were away, she decided to keep an eye on my wife. She said that the man had been at my house Friday night and stayed the whole night. On Saturday morning, Jen managed to catch him leaving. She followed him to his apartment and found out where he lived. My wife stayed with him again on Saturday night. The same night, she was sending me messages full of love and saying how much she missed me. Half the time, Jen was visiting her relatives who live in my town, and the other half, she was keeping watch on my wife. She mentioned that on Sunday morning, she happened to see my wife leaving his apartment and even took a few photos of them hugging and kissing before she got into her car. I don't want to see those photos. That was the last straw for me. I don't think I'll ever be able to trust her again. If she can switch so easily, say she loves me while being with another man, I can't see any future for us. Still, I decided not to make any hasty, emotion-driven decisions. I need to stay calm and think clearly. That's when Jen told me that Sharon would be coming over for dinner. Sharon is the counselor Jen found for me. For clarity, she's never met my wife, and this was my first time meeting her. Sharon turned out to be a very pleasant person, and we got along really well. After dinner, she and I went for a walk around Matt's neighborhood to walk the dogs and talk privately. Sharon was very helpful. She listened to me carefully and made me feel like I didn't have to be on guard all the time. It felt therapeutic. Even though I feel comfortable with my brother, this was different, and I really needed it. That's also why I like sharing everything here online. It helps me untangle the chaos in my head. Our walk lasted about an hour, and the main advice Sharon gave me was not to delay talking to my wife. She said the longer I wait, the harder it will be to have that conversation. She emphasized that what I need most right now is clarity, and my wife is the only person who can give it to me. Later that night, Jen and Matt offered to let me stay with them for as long as I needed. I know that Matt and I both have our limits when it comes to living together long term, so I talked to my boss, who arranged company housing for me. I'd stayed there before every other week, but I had to leave on weekends. Now, he made it possible for me to stay there for a few months if necessary. I also scheduled another meeting with Sharon later this week, since I found our walk really helpful for a first session. She agreed. On Sunday evening, I spent some time just lying in bed, thinking about how to approach the conversation with my wife. It was hard. Even the imagined scenarios made me angry and sad. I decided to just improvise. I usually handle pressure well. Yesterday, I woke up, said goodbye to Matt and Jen, and drove home. On the way, I thought, what if he's there when I arrive? Then I realized that would probably throw me back into that angry state I'd been in a few days ago. So I decided to drive past the house first. Neither his truck nor my wife's car was there. I went inside and gathered the things I didn't want to leave behind, mostly photos and family heirlooms, packed them into my car, and drove to that man's apartment. Her car wasn't there, but his truck was. I texted her, asking where she was. She replied that she was grocery shopping. I trust her so little now that I actually drove past the store to make sure she was really there. I hate admitting that, but my trust is shattered, and that's the only way I can be sure of anything. I texted her again, telling her to just come home because we needed to talk. She asked what was wrong, and I told her she needed to be ready for an honest conversation. Then I turned off my phone. She came home 15 minutes later. When she walked in, she tried to hug and kiss me, like she always does. I turned away, She asked again what was wrong, and I told her she needed to start being honest with me. She pretended not to understand and said she didn't know what I was talking about. I said, fine. If you can't be honest, then I'm leaving. She started panicking and said, are you talking about yoga? That caught my attention. I asked what she meant, and she admitted she hadn't been going to yoga. Here's a summary of the rest of that conversation. Me: if you haven't been going to yoga, then where have you been? Her: I was just going for walks to relax because I've been nervous lately. Me: why have you been so nervous? And why lie about what you were doing? Her: I've been stressed about the upcoming move. I didn't know how to tell you. Me: but I'm not stressed. I think you're not telling me the whole truth. Her: what do you mean? Me: I think you're lying, not just about yoga. Her: be honest. Have you lied to me again? This isn't going to work. Her: I don't know what else to say. Are you talking about last weekend when I went out for drinks with friends and came home late? Me: is that really what you did? Or is that a lie too? Her: I did go out for drinks that night. But yeah, I wasn't with the friend I said I was with. Me: so who were you with? Her: I was just drinking alone. Me: now you drink alone? Her: maybe I have a problem. Maybe we can talk about it later. Me: this is your last chance. Be honest, or I'm leaving. Her: I don't know what else to say. Me: all right, I'm leaving. At that point, I got up and walked out. Usually when we argue, I drive somewhere to clear my head. She probably thought that's what I was doing again, but then she noticed I had taken clothes, toiletries, and my Xbox with me. That's when she started calling nonstop. I told her I'd given her a chance to be honest, and she didn't take it, so I had nothing more to say. She begged and pleaded with me to come home so we could talk about it in person. She said she had no idea why I was so upset or what I thought she had done. She kept repeating that she loved me and would never hurt me. It was painful just to hear her say those words. They cut through me, carving a new wound. I used to believe those comforting words without question, but now they turned into a dull, jagged knife tearing my heart apart in the most devastating way. I couldn't take it anymore, so I hung up. She called back around 40 times before I was ready to answer again. This time, she asked, "Did you talk to Karen?" Her best friend. I asked why she was asking that, and she replied, "Just come home. I don't want to talk about this over the phone." I agreed. I drove around for a bit to calm my heartbeat and then went home. The conversation went like this. "I take it you talked to Karen?" "No, not recently. A few weeks ago, while you were at work, we went out for drinks. A couple of guys started buying us drinks, and we just played along. When we were leaving, one of them tried to kiss me. I pulled away immediately and told him I was married. I felt so awful about it. I wanted to tell you everything, but I was stupid and decided to hide it. Karen slept with another guy, and without my permission, she gave my number to one of his friends. He's texted me a few times since then, but I never replied. Can I see your phone?" "Yes," she said. She showed me her phone. It was completely empty except for messages from me and her mother. She never deletes her chats, so that was something new. I checked her photos, also clean. But then I looked into her recently deleted folder and found a picture of a man I didn't recognize. "Who's this?" "That's the guy who tried to kiss me." "Why did you take his picture?" "It was just stupid, that's all." "That's not an answer." "Why did you take his picture?" "I don't know." "Is that everything you want to tell me? Or is there more?" "That's all I can remember." I walked out again. I didn't want her feeding me the truth one small piece at a time. I got into my pickup truck and drove away. She ran out into the street, trying to stop me, but I was already out of reach. I went to a nearby park, sat on the tailgate of my truck, ate my lunch, and tried to figure out what to do next. While I sat there, more memories started surfacing, things I should have paid attention to earlier. For example, once I worked on a weekend and went to bed early. My wife went to a club with some friends. I woke up around 4 a.m., but she still wasn't home. I called her several times, no answer. Half an hour later, she finally called back and asked me to pick her up. When I did, she said they had tried to get a cab but couldn't. Then a couple of guys, friends of her friend, offered them a ride but wanted to stop by their place first. When they got there, her married friend went into a room with one of the guys. My wife said she looked for her for a while, then gave up and had some drinks in the kitchen with their roommates while waiting. She claimed she hadn't heard her phone when I called. We argued about it, and she expressed disgust at her friend's behavior, saying she would cut ties with her. I thought that was the end of it. Another time, she went to another city for a girls' night. For women, drinking and watching movies in pajamas, or so I was told. Later that night, around 1 a.m., she called to wish me good night. We talked for about 20 minutes. She kept saying how great the night was. But then I heard a man's voice in the background. I asked who it was. At first, she denied hearing anything, but when it happened again, louder, she couldn't deny it anymore. "Oh right," she said. "X brought a couple of guys with her. Everyone's really uncomfortable about it. She was drunk and 3 hours away. I had no choice but to trust her. We fought again afterward. I was upset that she hadn't told me right away there were men there. She promised never to put herself in that situation again. Obviously, that was a lie. After recalling all that, I decided to give her one last chance. I turned on my phone. It rang almost immediately. I answered. She was screaming, begging me to come home. I went back. The moment I walked in, she ran to me, sobbing. She sat on the couch, repeating, I'm sorry. For what exactly? I asked. She started rocking back and forth like she'd lost her mind. It took her about 5 minutes to catch her breath before she finally spoke. I lied about that guy who tried to kiss me. Okay, tell me what really happened. The four of us actually went back to his place that night. We were fooling around. I knew it was more than just fooling around. My head spun. The room seemed to shrink, and it felt like a million voices were whispering in my ears. I think I had a panic attack. I went to the bathroom, splashed cold water on my face, and came back. What did you do? You really want me to tell you? Yes. He used his fingers on me, and I did it to him with my mouth. That's it. Yes. I'm done playing this game. Either you tell me everything, right now, or this is the last conversation we'll ever have. She broke down again, crying uncontrollably, and after a few minutes, she finally continued. We met again and slept together. I'm so sorry. I love you. I'll do anything to fix this. It only happened once. If I tell you the whole truth, please, just give me a chance to make it right. I'll think about it. It was an affair. We saw each other while you were away for work. It lasted almost a month. Then she added, he's married, but they're getting divorced. Does he know you're married? Yes. So, he's cheating because his marriage is falling apart. And that made you think ours was, too? Is that what you told him? No, I don't think our marriage is falling apart. I'm such an idiot. I hate myself. Please don't leave me. I can fix this, anything you want. If you were in my shoes, or even in his wife's, what would you want? To know the truth. To be sure I could trust the person. Can I trust you? I messed up, but I won't ever do it again. If you were his wife, would you want to know the truth? Yes. Then fix it. Do you want me to call her? If you think that's what you'd want. She tried to call him, but there was no answer. A few minutes later, her phone rang. The number was saved as Karen from work. She looked shocked, so I immediately knew it wasn't Karen. I asked, is that him? She nodded. I took the phone and, like a coward, he said, oh, sorry, I think I dialed the wrong number. I replied, no, this is the husband of the woman you've been sleeping with. I'll let you talk to her. She has something to say to you. Then I handed the phone to my wife. She said, I told him everything. He knows the whole truth. It's over between us. It was just an affair, and you must never contact me again. I asked for the phone back. Before she could hang up, I said, what divorce lawyer are you going to hire? Because I'm filing for divorce. He stammered. Wait, didn't she tell you I'm getting divorced? No, I said. Okay then, maybe I should talk to your wife. I think she deserves to know just like I did. Please, man, I didn't know she was married. Don't destroy my marriage over a mistake. You destroyed mine over a mistake. So it's only fair I tell your wife. Please don't. She's at work right now. I'll tell her when she gets home. I swear. All right. Make sure you do. I said and hung up. Then I asked my wife if she knew where his wife worked and what her name was. She did. I told her to call the workplace and ask for her. She managed to reach her and asked her to sit down. The woman said she was just about to leave and would call back from her car. She did. Hi, what's going on? The woman asked. My name's wife's name. I have something terrible to tell you, and I don't want you to have an accident because of it. Please don't drive. Oh God, did something happen to him? No, he's fine. He's at home. I just wanted you to know that he and I had an affair for about a month. I'm confessing everything to my husband right now, and I thought you also deserved to know. There was silence for about a minute. Then she said, if this is some kind of sick joke, I will find out who you are, and hung up. Not even 10 minutes later, my wife got a text from Karen from work. "Thanks. You just ruined my life." I took the phone and replied, "You ruined 4 lives and 2 marriages. Don't forget, this is your fault, asshole." For the next hour, my wife begged me to stay. She offered to go to family therapy, said she'd never leave my side again, even offered sex. I expected all of that. Thanks to your comments, I knew exactly what would come next. Then she said we should go on that same vacation, on her dime. "We need time alone," she said. "We need quality time together because your work schedule has made us grow apart." Again, exactly what I expected. What she didn't expect was me telling her that I'd already taken that vacation. She didn't expect to hear that I'd already signed up for therapy, for myself. And she definitely didn't expect to hear that I had caught her with her lover in our own bed. I don't think she even realized I already had a place to stay. When I told her all this, she fell to the floor, sobbing. She said she didn't deserve to live, that I should kill her right there because she was too horrible to be with anyone. That went on for a while. I stayed for about 4 hours, listening to her excuses, her attempts to hug me, to press against me, to offer sex, anything, if I'd just stay and try to work it out. Eventually, I called Karen and told her that her friend, the cheating one, was in terrible shape and that she should come and check on her. Then I just left. It's been almost a month since then. I haven't spoken to her. She's been calling and texting nonstop. Her friends and family have been calling too, each with their own version of pity or pleading. Her father was the only one who texted me saying, "Do what's best for you. I'll always love you like a son, no matter what happens." When I read that, I cried, really cried, for the first time through all of this. Tomorrow I have a session with Sharon, my therapist. And on Thursday, a meeting with my lawyer. I think I know where this is headed, but until it's final, nothing feels certain. Sorry for such a long story. It just helps me let the emotions out when I write them down. Once again, thank you all so much for your support. Reading stories from people who went through something similar really helps me cope and gives me hope for tomorrow. I'm truly grateful to everyone who's been there for me. Now, about the story itself. Honestly, it's strange that the guy didn't notice all the red flags that filled his life from the very start. At one point, I even thought he might forgive her. But sadly, the story ends there, and we'll never know the outcome. Or maybe he did forgive her. Maybe that's why he never posted an update. Because, as we know, everyone online wants to look strong, but no one wants to be that guy who forgave a wife who cheated for a whole month. So what do you think? Thanks for watching this story till the end. Check out our previous videos right here. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more long stories like this. Good luck!